Hello crafters. So today I'm going to show you how to make a stitch card like this. My sister-in-law Heather knows that I'm obsessed with rabbits, so she always finds lovely rabbit pictures for me, so I thought I'd embellish it with a little bit of stitching. So what you're going to need is a card with a nice picture on the front. If it's a birthday card, you can cut the back off and use that as a shopping list. Then you'll need something to pierce holes. So either a pin with a head, or you can put a needle eye end into a cork. That does the job very well. And then you'll need something soft to pierce down into. So I've got the back of a mouse mat here, but if you want to just have a piece of fabric or something like that, that's fine. And then you'll need some thread, so either sewing threads or embroidery thread, any kind of thread that you've got around, and a pair of scissors. So the first thing that you need to do is pierce some holes into your card. Now you can decide where you want to put them, and if you need more later on, you can add some more. So it's just where you're going to stitch. So what I do is pierce around a line. So just here, I'm going to pierce along the line of the green hillside. My holes are about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 centimetre apart. And you just carry on until you've gone across the whole line. Okay. This pin is working very well actually, but maybe the cork will work better for children. In some cases I'm just going to do a long stitch, so I've just put a hole either end of where I'm going to do a long stitch, and in some cases I'm going to do a little French knot, so I put 2 holes for the windows of the lighthouse so that I can do some little French knots there. Okay, so that is your piercing of the holes done. So now you need a needle and some thread. Here's mine. If you make it double and put a knot at the end, that makes it more obvious to see and also makes it easier to start your stitching. So for these long stitches I'm putting in the sky here, come through the back of the card, just leave that loop at the back, go to the other end of the line that you're wanting to stitch, and then you can go through that loop that you've made at the back, and that will secure your thread on the back. So there's my first line. If you just want to use a single thread, then you can sellotape or knot it on the back. Okay, so then I'm going to find where I've got the next hole, just here, and do a nice long stitch out to here. So this just seemed to work well for these sort of sun rays in the sky here, and it's also what I did for some of the grass here. Just did some long stitches with grass. Okay, so that's the long stitches. Now when you're going around the edge of something, like here around the edge of the grass, you can do back stitch. So the way you do back stitch is you come through the second hole and then you go back to the first hole. Then you'll need to look on the back, see where you've got to. So come through the next hole that you haven't used and go back 1 hole. And then check where you are, go through the next hole that you haven't used and go back through the hole. Now if you're not happy doing back stitch, you can do double running stitch. So the way we do double running stitch is just come up 1 hole, down the next hole, up 1 hole, down the next hole, up 1 hole, down the next hole, up one hole, whoops, dropped my needle, up one hole, down the next hole. So now you've got running stitch along here, and then you just go back and fill in those holes, and then that's double running stitch. So I just fill in that little hole there, and then fill in the next little hole, and so on, so that you still get a solid line, if that's what you want. Maybe you prefer the look of running stitch, which is fine, you can just leave it as that. Okay, so I've finished those two little bits of grass down there, which just outlines it nicely. So I thought it'd be good to do some French knots just in the windows of the lighthouse. So this is how you do a French knot. So you come up through one of your holes, lay the thread down to the left like that, put your needle on the thread. Sorry, I'm doing this backwards to myself. And then you put the thread round your needle like that, and then go back through your second hole. Sorry, let me do it facing me because I can't work it out. Right, so thread to the left, go round the needle, and then go through your second hole, holding on to that thread so you keep the tension while you pull the needle through, and then you'll get a little knot that makes your window. Let's try another one. So come up through one hole, lay your thread to the left, lay your needle on the thread, put the thread round the needle, and go back through your second hole, holding the tension on your thread so that stops as a little knot. So that's giving me the windows in my lighthouse. So with the rabbit, I used French knot for his eye here, and back stitching to go round the edge of him, and for the flowers I actually put some long stitches in a sparkly pink, which I thought looked rather nice. And so that's how you can finish your card. Do as much as you like and then mount it onto a card, and you can give it to someone for their birthday. Thank you very much for listening. Lovely to see you all. Bye-bye.